I will like to talk to you about topic to map. You can find all details in the A plus student structure. You have to log in there using your address and password to log in earlier to figure it. Then you have to select and on the subject tab, scroll down, do that, and then click on your OI lessons. Then we can find the rest of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter patterns and one digit, addition one digit. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the examples and definition. And on day two, chapter we are on right down is patterns. Let's just start with the lesson that is repeating patterns. Look at this pattern. So we have purple and a green pattern, right? So here we have purple and green. The next one is purple and green pattern. The correct option is purple and green pattern. So the missing one is a purple and a green pattern. Let's just start with the test questions. Look at this pattern. So we have two blue and one purple, right? So it is one blue. The next one is another blue and purple. So blue and purple. Option number three is the correct option. A blue and a purple. Option number three is the correct option. Look at this pattern. Which pattern match a plate and two sofa, another plate, another sofa, another plate, and bed. Which pattern match? Option number one is the correct option. There is a short one and two, right? Option number one is the wrong. Which pattern? Look at this pattern. Which pattern match? So which is the correct option? So we have just look at the pattern. Okay, we have a star, a square, or sorry, star, cube, bone, star, cube, bone, right? That means we have three shapes and they keep repeating their pattern. So the second one is the correct option, that is cylinder, rectangle, and octagon. Then cylinder, rectangle, and octagon. So actually what is the option? Option number two is the correct option. Look at this pattern. That is star, diamond, and triangle. Star, diamond, and triangle. that is star, diamond, and triangle. That is triangle, and the next one is triangle. Option number three is the correct option. That is triangle and star. Option number three is the correct option. Look at this pattern. Which pattern match? So, which is the correct option? Rectangle and pentagon, rectangle and pentagon. So, which is the correct option? Option number two is the correct option. That is square and triangle. Square and triangle. Option number two is the correct option. Option number two is the correct option. Look at this pattern. Which comes next? So, which is the correct option? One, two, three. Which is the correct option? Option number three is the correct option. That is the option three. That comes next. Look at the pattern. Which pattern match? So, which is the correct option? So, which is the correct option? Option number one is the correct option. Look at this pattern, which is the correct option. Option number one is the correct option. Look at this pattern. Which pattern matches? So, which is the correct option? Option number one is the correct option. Look at this pattern. Which pattern match? So, which is the correct option? Option number two is the correct option. Look at this pattern. Option number one is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself today. Let me just move to next lesson. The next lesson is drawing patterns. Let's just start with the lesson. Which comes next? Here is one, then two, then three. So they are going by one. The next one is one, two, three. The next one would be four and eleven. Let's just start with the test questions. Which comes next? One yellow butterfly, one pink, right? Then you have the same one yellow and the pink ones are increasing in next one, two, three. The next one is four. Option number three is the correct option. We have one yellow butterfly and four pink. Option number two is the correct option. Which comes next? So which is the correct option? Two rectangles a triangle, then three rectangles in triangle, then four rectangles a triangle. So the rectangles are increasing by one. So we have five rectangle and a triangle. Option number two is the correct option. Option number two is the correct option. Which comes next? Which is the correct option? A sofa and a stool, then another sofa, two stool, another sofa, three stool. So that means stools are increasing by one every so option number three is the correct option. Which comes next? Which is the correct option? The correct option is option number three is the correct option. But if the category isn't reason, you have the donuts on the corners and the middle one is increasing paradigm. So option number three is the correct option. Which comes next, which is the correct option? The correct option is option number one, because option number one is the correct option. Which comes next, which is the correct option? Option number three is the correct option. Which comes next? So which is the correct option? Option number one is the correct option. Which comes next? So which is the correct option? Option number two is the correct option. Which comes next? So which is the correct option? Option number three is the correct option. Which comes next? Option number one is the correct option. Hopefully you can complete the lesson by yourself because let me just move on the next lesson. So basically, we're done with the chapter pattern. Now we're going to start with the lesson. I think yes, the addition and digit. So let's just start with the lesson. Addition one digit. Let's just start with the lesson. Add. We are given the pictured form. We need to add them. So you are given 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Here we have 0. So 4 plus 0 equals so 4 plus 0 is 4. Whatever the number adding to 0, the number stays the same. So 4 plus 0 is 4. Let's just start the test questions. Add. So we are given 2 plus 4. You need to count them correctly, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 plus 4 equals. So 2 plus 4 equals, right? Option number 2 is the correct. So 2 plus 4 equals 6. The next one is 3, 6 plus 2. So let's just count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So 6 plus 3 equals. That is 9. 6 plus 3 is 9. Option number 1 is the correct option. Add 2 plus 4. So let's just count them together. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 plus 4 makes. So 2 plus 4 equals 6. Option number 2 is the correct option. And 5 plus 0, so which is the correct option? 5 plus 0 is 5. Option number 3 is the correct option. Add 9 plus 1. So let's just count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So the correct option is 10. Option number 3 is the correct option. Add 1 plus 8. So start, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1 plus 8 equals 9. Option number 1 is the correct option. Add 3 plus 1, so which is the correct option? That is 4. Option number 1 is the correct option. Add 0 plus 8. 0 plus 8 is 8. Option number 3 is the correct option. Add 0 plus 9. 0 plus 9 is 9. Option number 1 is the correct option. Two plus 8 equals 10. Option number 3 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself with a really just one answer. The next lesson is ways to make a number unstable. How do you make nine? So you are given four of the options. You need to select the one option that is nine, right? So the correct option is 8 plus 1 equals. So the correct option is 8 plus 1 equals 9. Let's just start with the test questions. Which is not a way to make it. So you don't have to make two, right? So then option number one is the correct option. That is 2 plus 1 equals 3. The rest of the two options make two, right? How do you make 4? So which is the correct option? The 3 plus 1 equals 4. Option number one is the correct option. That is 3 plus 1. How do you make 10? How do you make 10? Which is the correct option? 7 plus 3 makes 10. Option number one is the correct option. That is 7 plus, which is not a way to make 1. Not a way to make 1, right? Then you have the correct option is 1 plus 1. Option number 3 is the correct option. Which is not a way to make 1. Not a way to make. That is 9 plus 1. Option number 3 is the correct. How do you make 8? So which is the correct option? 6 plus 2 makes option number 3 is the correct option. How do you make 4? That is 4 plus 0. Option number 2 is the correct option. Which is not available with mine. Not available with mine, right? Then 6 plus 4 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself for today. So we were working on grade 2 math. We've started with the chapter patterns. A lesson we have covered on the chapter pattern is repeating patterns and growing patterns. Then we have started with the chapter addition on the journal. The lessons we have covered today are they are addition one digit, ways to make numbers sums to 10. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself for today. If you are working on grade 2 math, please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So you can please write down the questions in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions if you have any. Questions.